welcome. Welcome to Homekeepers. Oh, I am so glad to be here today. And I have a feeling we have some brand new viewers out there. You didn't know we were here, but just stay where you are. And I hope this will not be your last time to join Homekeepers. And I always just want to give a special shout out every time to our regular viewers out there, faithful viewers who support us with your prayers and with your finances and with the good words you send to us. You are very much a part of this ministry. Got a really good show today. My guests are Roxanne and Hannah Packham. This is a mother-daughter team. Hannah is a teenager, and they have written and produced a beautiful, gorgeous, I would put it on my coffee table, you know, because it's the kind of thing you just like to sit and go through. Has a lot of good writings, good quotes in it, but beautiful, beautiful pictures and ideas on how to decorate your house. Roxanne is known from Northern California to Southern California for her expertise in designing homes or in doing the interior decorating for homes. And just up and down the coast of California, she is well known and has turned this into a ministry. She and her daughter also have a mother-daughter ministry that we'll talk about. And this is just something I love. I think most women are interested in decorating, and you want your home as beautiful as you can make it. Maybe you'll learn something today. And Wanda and I are going to fix some, what are they?
Taco cups.
Taco cups, yeah, they're little bitty hors d'oeuvres, and the ingredients in them, they just have to taste so good. I have a vision of our crew here just wolfing them down after we put all the work into putting them together, making them beautiful. There's something that you could probably eat a whole lot of these babies. You'll see when we get to it. Before I join her, though, I want to offer you this beautiful book. It's a little more pricey than most of the things we offer, but you can see how gorgeous it is, and you know how much these types of books will cost in your bookstore. And please know that that cost includes the shipping. And Wanda and I just kind of lose our breath about a couple times a week on how much shipping is costing nowadays, just like everything else, but it seems to have taken a tremendous jump. So if you want it, you can call 1-800-229-0059, use your credit card to order it, or write to us at Homekeepers, Post Office Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, and we will get this gorgeous, gorgeous creation to you. Now I've joined Wanda over here, and you're doing the first step of making tacos, and that's to fry up your good, and this is pretty lean beef, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it had some fat. I did remove that prior to us, so I'm just going to stir in the seasoning.
Just one of these little taco seasoning mixes.
And I'm just going to work it into the meat really well, and then I'll show you why what we're going to do next with it.
I think this is one I'm going to watch her do.
Okay, I have everything like in order. If you were
Sorry about that.
No. If you want to do this, let's say if you're going to have some guests to your house.
She's the most organized person, and I forgot that for a moment. Go ahead.
No. It's just how you're going to layer it. It's going to be with the beans, the meat, the cheese, salsa, and...
That's what I want to know, is how do you layer in something that size?
Well, very small. So I've got this worked in pretty well, I think. So I'm going to add it to my bowl here.
Was I right about these guys wolfing it down?
Oh, yeah.
With both hands?
I think this is fun. I think this is something, you certainly could do this up a little bit in advance. I think it'd be more fun to let your guests put what they would like on them.
Yeah, make a little smorgasbord line here.
Sure.
Okay.
Now, all right, so we have this.
Watch her do it.
And these are refried beans. I did heat these up a little bit.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't want them cold.
Because they would be tough and a little on the cold side.
Just a teeny bit though, because you got all this stuff.
Just a little bit. Yeah, and you're gonna put, you know, your taco meat's going to have wonderful spices to it. And then I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of cheese on there. How cute are these?
Whoever designed this, do you think they forgot how tiny these scoops are? These are those tortilla
Well, how much
scoops.
do you need for one bite? Really, seriously. This is really enough to tantalize. Now for what I'm going to do here.
When do you put the olive on?
Well, just a minute. We're going to do our sour cream. And I'm just going to put this in here like that. And do that. And then I'm going to take a black olive and I'm just going to do it like that. And there you go.
Oh, isn't that cute? Oh, they have a good, isn't that the cutest thing we've ever done?
It is. Now you have to taste it and see if you like it. I prefer things to be heated through. So that would be my...
I'm tempted to put the whole thing in my mouth.
Well, I think you can. They're bites. No? Okay, you don't have to then. But the seasonings will be terrific.
Whoever thought of this is a genius. Let me tell you.
A little bit of this.
And it doesn't really take that long if you had a whole platter of these when friends come in.
Yeah, you could probably do it right in advance.
And you know they are pretty filling. You might not want to wolf 6 of them down at one time.
No, you don't even have to use a scoop if you don't want to, like what I just did. If you're not interested in wasting your time. It just depends on, you know. I was looking for a little bit of a different shape, but that's okay.
Oh, do some more.
You like that, Arthelene? Are you thinking it's good?
I love them.
Good, awesome.
It's got all your Mexican flavors in it, as well. You know, where you're going to get refried beans, salsa, and everything in one little bite like that. I like to watch you do it.
Do you? And it's just a lot of fun. And your guests can have a lot of fun doing these. And some people don't like cheese. Sometimes people just only want a little bit of this and not all the other stuff in there. But, you know, let them be creative. You know, you can have, this is one of those dishes you can do green onion.
Do them in order. You almost blew it. You almost put the olive in the wrong place.
That would be just terrible if I blew it now, wouldn't it?
Oh, they cute?
Yeah.
You know what? They taste as good as they look.
And that's how you start it. And all you do is just build them. That's why it might be something you may want your guests to do.
We're not going to do the show. We're just going to do this. Okay?
I need to have this here.
All right. Well, if you want this recipe, the information's coming up on your screen, and how you could delight your guests and your family. Do something special for your family. That might just set a whole better tone, you know, in the house, okay? Information's coming up, and then I want you to meet my guests.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, please send your request along with a gift of $5 or more to Homekeepers, P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758.
Okay, I am joined now by Roxanne Hughes Packham and her daughter, Hannah. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for this beautiful book. Oh, you come from a long line, like my family's all preachers and singers. You come from a line that totally inspired interior designs. Everybody in your family have a beautiful home and everything matches.
Well, kind of. They're silversmiths. They go back about 8 generations, although some history books have it even farther. But we want to only quote what we know for sure. So they go back, silversmiths from Boston. Alan Adler was my grandfather, and Porter Blanchard was my great-grandfather. And they've been in the Smithsonian and Huntington Library and Gardens and all kinds of really interesting things.
Yeah. Tell people what does that entail, a silversmith, exactly what do they do?
Essentially, I mean, jewelry, like something like this, and
you're going to leave that, won't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold that up, I want them to see it.
Actually, my grandmother made this one for me more recently.
That is so neat.
Yeah, but flatware, knives, forks, and spoons, beautiful bowls. He did things for, you know, Cary Grant and like the Kennedys. He did some really amazing things. Just with his hand, everything was done by hand, so there was lots of pride and workmanship, and he loved people, and he loved designing different things for them.
And that's the genesis, but it leads out to these other things that you know, actually are all put in a book here, and we want to talk more about that. But you you didn't just learn from your family. You went to some schools and overseas,
right,
to refine your
I did.
craft.
I studied in Paris at the Sorbonne and the Paris Fashion Institute, and my husband and I lived in Spain for a few years when we were first married, and I studied a little bit in Spain, and then I went to fashion design school right after college. So, yeah.
So Hannah's 17 years old. Are you following in these family footsteps?
Yeah, with the book and everything, I'm working with my mom and doing that, so.
When you see the beautiful layout of this book and all, I just want to know, do you pick up your room? Do you hang up your clothes? Because sometimes teenagers are not good at that.
I think my room is very organized and clean. Sometimes she has other things to say about it, but I think it's clean.
She does a pretty good job. She does.
Yeah, it's all, it's all in how you look at it, right?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Now this includes, I really try to imagine what goes into making something this beautiful, full of pictures and full of writings, quotes, and so forth. A lot of work went into this.
A lot of work.
Why did you decide to do it?
The biggest reason is to spend time with Hannah and do a project with Hannah, but also because I just noticed that so many of my clients didn't have, they didn't really know what to do with their heritage. And so I kind of wanted to inspire people that it's their heritage that matters. Mine is design, so clearly it warranted, a coffee table book of some sort. But, if you were doctors or preachers, like you said, whether you were teachers, professors, there's just all kinds of things you can do in your home. We have a chapter on that, how to incorporate your history. But to kind of do that, the profits go to charity, and we wanted to do a project together where we could use our gifts and talents for the Lord. Typically, interior design is not one of those things that you really can give back to God as much as I would hope. So that's why we did
It's
the
the way
book.
you can do it, though.
Yeah.
You make a statement in here, and I think I read it somewhere else. By the way, this wonderful Homecoming magazine by my friends Bill and Gloria Gaither featured Roxanne and this book in this lovely magazine, which I usually read every article in it because I know a lot of those people. But in the magazine and in the book, you said something that arrested me, and that was something to the effect that you don't understand the power of your home. And that resonated with me, because when you walk in somebody's home, what should it say?
I think the biggest thing that you can do with your home is to welcome people in and make them feel loved. So there's all kinds of ways in our book to make people feel loved. I think so many times in today's culture, women underestimate the value of the power of their home, having people in, setting a dinner, not for necessarily a birthday party or anniversary, but if someone's having a hard week, have them over for dinner, or have some sort of an excuse to have them over, and have little cards at each place with just scriptures. It doesn't need to be really fancy. A lot of our tables might look fancy. They were actually whipped together pretty fast, and we did do a lot of those tables on a budget. The silver on the cover is my grandfather, so that was not done on a budget.
Well, really, we will absolutely understand that. It would be an insult not to feature something
right
by you.
Exactly.
I'm curious, Hannah, with you and helping your mom do this book, for one thing. Do your girlfriends show interest in this kind of thing?
Like the design aspect or the book? Or?
Just the house at all. I mean,
as much as Hannah.
I don't know if it's as much as me, but I do know that they have, some interest in, and some more than others, but, helping their mom make a welcoming home and entertain people and have people into their houses and entertain and all that. So I know some of them do, at least.
Yeah, I often tell my audience I really don't want to be a cranky old person, but do you think it's changed in the generation? Say your grandmother, your mom. Don't we live a whole lot faster now? And we don't have time for hospitality. We just don't seem to have time.
I think it's so true, and it drives me crazy, because I kind of grew up with the whole setting a nice table. No matter what you were doing, you stopped and set a nice table. And actually now, if you're really busy, still set a nice table. And if you have pizza and you have it on a nice table, that's not terrible. But still asking people over. I have a couple, I'm actually going to be putting it up on my blog because so many people ask for it all the time, but to have a couple tried and true recipes that you love, because it's more important to ask the people over and close the guest room door if it's messy, close the family room door if it's messy, and just have fellowship at the table. I just, you know, so many times people are so touched just by the mere invitation. They're not looking to be critical on whether your table is set perfectly or not.
I want to put the website up for the Packhams here, and we'll leave it up so that you can write it down, because there's a lot more to this than what we're discussing at the moment with the book and the beauty and the ideas, because these girls have a ministry where they want to really bring mothers and daughters, you know, closer together. I raised my kids for 7 years in the car, in motels. We weren't hobos, we were evangelists, which I don't know, maybe they're similar. But honestly, especially in the church apartments, some of them were pretty bad, but I'd go buy some fruit, have a fruit bowl in the middle of the table, and placemats out of a paper towel or something that had design. It doesn't have to be someone who has silver.
No. Definitely
just,
not.
And that you look at your family as someone to be hospitable to, and to make the effort to make it a little bit nicer.
Right.
Get the milk cartons off the table. We can do that.
Exactly, and just snipping some greens from the backyard. It doesn't have to be flowers necessarily, but bay leaves or boxwood, you know, from a boxwood hedge, or whatever trees that you have in the backyard, lemon leaves and branches, and put them in, just to have a little, you know, something fresh in the middle, whether it could be fruit. I just noticed that it's not the size of the house or the wealth of the people. It's really the effort. I've been to some of the most amazing dinner parties in like a trailer. I mean, really, one of the best memories I ever had was the hospitality of this lovely older lady who had moved out of her regular home, and she just was so lovely. So it doesn't have to be an expensive home or expensive china. It's just really all about the hospitality and the care of making the tables.
I agree with you on a couple of really standby recipes. I've kind of looked at my own life, and there's maybe 6 there that I feel comfortable I pulled from. If you just tuned in, I'm talking to Roxanne and Hannah Packham. They are the authors of this gorgeous, gorgeous book. And if you weren't watching before, but this is all about heritage, it's about beauty, it's about the things that really matter, and the way that you really conduct the things in your home. I was talking earlier about that sentence you made. I did write it down. I'm going to give you the whole thing. Do not underestimate the power of your home nor its ability to change lives. A cup of hot tea and an hour in a cozy nook spent listening to a friend can be life-altering. That is so very, very true. Now, the scripture lists hospitality with some other very powerful gifts.
It does.
How in the world can we get that message to Christians?
Well, I think one of the ways is practice hospitality. That is in Romans, and I forget the exact verse, but it says practice hospitality. It doesn't say anywhere to perfect it. And we're not told to be perfect at it. We're just told to practice it. And that, I think, is what gives, you know, unbelievers the idea, you know, of what the intimacy is with God, and how we can kind of show it to them by bringing them in, sitting them down, giving them food, giving them a little blessing of a little, you know, whatever. Hannah started, when I noticed that she really started liking the table settings, is remember when you started making all the place cards?
Yeah, Hannah, do you realize what a jump start you have on on a lot of things in life? And I'm glad that you're bringing this to the people. And they're going to be on a future program in just a few days, and that time we'll talk more about the ministry and how maybe there are chapters even in different states.
Yeah.
But what was it that, is it just because she was growing up and you look one day and you say, you know, she's a young lady, what can we do to make these months, years special that are left?
A little bit. Why don't you tell them about the story about dropping out of the other charity?
Yeah.
Oh, well, how the book started was we were doing another charity type thing, and it was a lot of meetings, and it was a mother-daughter organization, but we weren't doing that much together or just to help people, and so we decided that we'd stop doing that charity and we'd, you know, decide on something else to do. And she prayed a lot. I was younger, so I don't know how much I prayed, but I probably did a little bit. And so we prayed about it, and she said one day, "Do you want to write a book?" And I said, "Yeah, that sounds like fun."
We just thought we wanted to do something towards to honoring God with our gifts and talents. And I wanted to show Hannah that it didn't really matter necessarily what the talent was. And I told her, I don't really care if you do design, because she may do, her dad's in the medical field. You know, I don't care if you do something like that. They have to find their own path. But I just wanted to show her what it looked like to be a Christian woman, you know, in today's world, but not of the world.
I'm glad you've done this, because I do think it's something that's lost, and hopefully we can resurrect it. I had a lady on, Debbie Titus, who wrote a book on the table experience and the importance, and seems like God's doing little things to bring us back to something so important.
Yeah, I noticed that, because it is so important. And everywhere we go, and when we get to Inspired 31 we can talk about that, but everywhere we go, mothers and daughters kind of like us are flocking to the teas that we're having, because mothers and daughters like to spend time together, and where they may not sit at a nice table every night, like I don't, but you know, we all love to spend time with our daughters, and a meaningful project, whether it's baking for, you know, an elderly home down the street from you, or whether it's doing a book, it's just using your gifts, you know, to honor God.
Yeah, and I think according to Scripture, they're so important, and I really do believe that the radical feminist movement has been very, very, I'm sorry, successful in just really degrading and downgrading things that are important to God, because all of this, in the final analysis, is about relationships, isn't it?
It is.
And it's something that will enhance a relationship. Just some small little thing, like the hors d'oeuvres we fixed earlier in the program, just something really small, might seem insignificant, but amazingly, it can change eternity for some people. And so, Roxanne, I'll never forget your statement. Do not underestimate the power of your home. And the reason for this program is to show you ways that you can improve it, make it better, and more hospitable. Stay with me. I have a couple things to say before we have to say goodbye.
Arthelene would like you to keep the following information handy. You may contact Homekeepers by writing P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, or go to www.rippy.org. Remember, we always enjoy hearing from our viewers, and we thank you for your support.
Okay, I want to again offer you this beautiful book, Inspired Design. It's just very hard for me to describe because it is so beautiful, so well done. And it's the kind of book you leave that on your coffee table, and there's some real substance in here besides beautiful pictures. And it's yours for that gift of at least $40. And that includes shipping and handling. And let me tell you something, friends, that's no small item. Shipping costs have gone over the moon. But I think this is something that you would really love to have and enjoy. 1-800-229-0059 if you use that credit card. And my good friends out there who have some vision impairment, they say, Arthelene, give us the address. So it is Homekeepers, Post Office Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758. Get yourself something that's beautiful, okay? It's becoming more and more common in America to adopt a casual attitude concerning absolute truth. And please note, friend, that your children and grandchildren are bombarded, not just with the casual attitude, but with a firm belief that absolute truth is non-existence. Now, some of the things wrapped up in this heresy would be comical, if not so very, very serious. Just this morning while driving to the office, I heard that a school in Switzerland will no longer use the terms he and she in order to refrain from any type of gender bias. In other words, we're all the same. To be male or female is no longer an issue. Just this past weekend, a wave of giddy celebrants poured into the streets of New York City when the right for homosexuals to marry narrowly passed the legislature in the middle of the night. As one excited reveler remarked, "This is a victory for all gays, lesbians, transgender people, and transvestites." He should have added, "and any and all perverse proclivities that man might imagine." Absolute truth affirms that God exists and that He created. He created the universe and all that dwells in it. He created the first family in the Garden of Eden, and that family consisted of a male and a female. The union of a man and woman in holy matrimony provides the bedrock, the foundation for a secure social structure. Since our culture through relativism has allowed the erosion of truth, our children have lost. They've lost their right to a safe haven. Now, what about your family? Is the foundation of your home on the Scripture? Is it on the solid rock? God not only created male and female for this purpose, but throughout the Bible, the role of each is clearly defined. When each family member follows the divine pattern and soaks their decisions in love, everybody wins. America's radical women's movement has made every effort to degrade the God-given role assigned to women. However, I continue to believe that His plan is best. Girls, listen to me. Do not hand over your power to a godless culture to dictate to you the fundamentals of your own life. Rather, choose to live your life according to God's plan. The calm assurance and satisfaction that comes from obedience cannot be explained in earthly terms. To quote a lyric from one of my favorite songs, "The world didn't give it to me, and the world can't take it away." Think about it, friend, and remember there's no higher calling, none, than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you would like a video copy of today's Homekeepers program for just $19.95, call 1-800-229-0059 for credit card orders, or send a gift of at least $19.95 to Homekeepers, P.O. Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758. Be sure to note the program number which appears on your screen.